So now we're going to be talking about composition. Composition simply means using objects of other classes to create maybe a bigger object. So you can look at composition this way. Let's say that you want to manufacture a car. You don't necessarily have to be the one to manufacture the engine, manufacture the batteries, or other components. So this means that you can actually get engine manufactured by another company, get battery that is manufactured by another company, get the chassis from another company, and then you couple them together to form a bigger component. So that's the way composition works. So we're going to demonstrate composition using a car class. And in this case, we're going to create a class for battery, we're going to create a class for engine, and then we're going to create another class, which is car. And this car is going to make use of objects of the engine class and the battery class. So we're going to start by creating a class for the battery. So we can start by saying class, and we'll call it battery. And then we'll provide our constructor. In this case, we can say df. We'll have double underscore in it. And then we'll have self. Then we can have the voltage of the battery. So let's call this voltage. And then we'll put our colon. Then we can say self dot voltage is equal to voltage. Then we can also define a method that gives us information about the battery. So we can have def, we'll say battery info. Then we'll have self, and then we're going to put our colon, and we can say return. Then we'll use f string and say this is a. Then we'll put the instance variable self dot voltage, and then we'll have battery. So we're done with this. Then the next thing that we can do is that we'll create another class, but this time we're creating a class for the engine. So we can have class engine, and then we'll have the f in it. And then we'll have self, we'll have type, and then we'll have capacity. So we can have something like self dot type is equal to type. Then we can have self dot capacity is equal to capacity. We can also define a method that gives us the information about the engine. We can say df engine info. Then we'll have self here. So we're going to return. We use f string and say this is a. Then we can put self dot capacity, and then we'll put self dot type, and then we'll have engine, something like this. So then we can also have a method that will enable us to start the engine or off the engine. So we can have def start engine. We can have def start engine. Then we'll have self, and then we can return something like engine on. Then we can also have a method that stops or offs the engine. So we can say df stop engine. Then we're going to say return engine off. And so the next thing is to create the car class. So we can start by saying class, and then we'll have car. Then we'll provide our constructor. In this case, we're going to say df init, and then we'll say self. Then we can provide the name of the car. So we can say name. We can provide the engine of the car, which is engine, and then we can provide the battery of the car, which is battery. I'm going to have self dot name is equal to name, then self dot engine is equal to engine. Then I can say self dot battery is equal to battery. With this, I'm done with the car class. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to instantiate this car. But before I instantiate the car, I need to create objects of the engine and the battery. So I can have battery is equal to battery. And then in this case, I'm supposed to provide the voltage. So I can say 75 volts. So I'm done with this. So the next thing for me to do is for me to instantiate the class for the engine. So I can call this engine is equal to engine, and then I provide a capacity. Let's say the capacity is 4 liters. So we can have 4 liters. And then the type, let's call this a V6 engine. So I can say V6. Now I've created the object of the battery. I've created an object of the engine. So this is the time for me to utilize the object of these classes to create the car class. So to do that, I can say car is equal to car. Then I'm supposed to provide the name for the car, so I can call it Toyota. So I'll provide the engine. In this case, I'm going to use the object of the engine class, which is engine, and then I'll provide the battery object, which is battery. So I'm done with instantiating the car class. Because I made use of the object of the engine and the battery, I can actually get information about the engine or get the engine to do something using the car object. For instance, I can find out the information about the engine. Let's say engine info is equal to, I'll say car dot. Then I provide the engine, the instance variable, which is engine, and then I can now access the engine info. So this is the engine info. So I can say print engine info, so that if I print the engine info, it will give me this is a V6 4-liter engine. So composition in essence is about using objects of other classes to create another class. For instance, if I want the engine to start, I can quickly call on the start engine method of the engine. I can have something like status is equal to, I can say car dot engine, and then I'll say start engine. And then I can print the status, print status. So if I run this code, it's going to show me engine on. If I want to off the engine, I can say stop engine. And if I run this program, it's going to show me engine off. Also, if I want to get information about the battery, I can say battery info is equal to car dot battery info, and then I can print the battery info, print battery info. So if I run this program, it's going to show me this is a 75-volt battery. So in essence, composition is about using objects of other classes to create maybe a bigger or composite object.